Welcome to the Pulse of Ely podcast. This is the official podcast for the Ely Echo newspaper. I'm publisher Nick Wagnum. Tom Coombs not available today. He's down in Florida with the baseball team from Vermilion. So stepping in today is our state representative, Roger Skraba. Roger, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Now, that's good. It's a beautiful day outside.
48 degrees. Not here. In St. Paul. I left St. Paul this morning. It was 30 and it was warming up.
Okay. And you made it safely up from the metropolitan area?
You know, last night we got done with a floor session early, and we get lobbied a lot down there. And the LIUNA group, the Labor International Union,
Okay.
They had a meet and greet.
Sure.
So we went to Mancini's there, hung out with a bunch of, I probably spent more time with the Democrats than I did with the Republicans chatting and, you know, the members. But it was like, okay, I'm done with this at 6:00. Do I drive home?
Oh, sure.
And I'm like, you know what? The thing I despise the most is traffic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, I'm just going to spend the night, get up early and drive unfettered the whole way. And it was uneventful, which is nice.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. And I don't have to drive in the dark, you know.
Another good thing.
So it's all good.
Tell us how the session is going so far.
Well, the first time we were on the floor, the other side got upset and thought decorum doesn't matter anymore.
Oh boy.
And just started hollering and screaming like it was some, you know, Chinese. You saw the videos of those where they come and beat on each other, and they thought it was some, you know, parliament where you could do whatever you want. It's like, no, we live by the rules.
Right.
If you don't like what you say, then stand up and say, I don't like what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone screaming at each other and the speakers banging the gavel like, hey, this has to stop.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then they go off talking in non-germane discussions, not even close to what the discussion is. And it's like, okay, folks, if you're going to play that way, we'll just let you and show you really how ineffective you are. I mean, you're there as leaders, you're there as representatives,
right,
not activists.
Right.
So act like a representative. So it got better the last couple times we had floor session. We keep bringing up this Office of Inspector General.
Yeah, where's that at now in this whole process? I see it's been up and down, and it hasn't passed, obviously. So
no, we're trying to bring it up. The issue is the governor says, I'll create my own Office of Inspector General, and it's like, no, you're not listening.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want you to be in charge. We want a third party to look at this, and the Democrats keep coming. Constitutionally, it has to be under the governor. Fine, we'll put it under the governor's office with the guidance of all three of us, the judicial, the legislative, and the administrative.
Mm-hmm.
But why would we let the person that's going to be investigated pick who's going to investigate him? You know, and then not have any law enforcement whatsoever ability. And that's the key to this whole thing, is that third party law enforcement, where if they find something, they can prosecute you
and do something.
And that is what they didn't want. They don't want that. You can find it. And then what? Yeah, you find it. It's like, no, there has to be a consequence for your action. Mm-hmm. So we've been trying to pass that each time. And like, not this last time, we just said, we'll give it a rest. So, but we brought it up, and the Democrats said, we don't need to do that. It's unconstitutional. You guys don't know what you're doing, yada, yada, yada. And we're like, no, we know what we're doing. And it's not unconstitutional. The Senate passed it last year, 70-6.
Just thinking of that. It did pass in the Senate.
Oh, yeah.
The governor said he would sign it. This is last session we're talking about.
Yeah.
And it came to the House and it didn't pass.
Right.
Right at the end? Is that right?
Very much so. Okay. Yeah, it was part of the negotiation. The Senate came and said, yeah, it wasn't 76. I can't remember.
It was an overwhelming vote in the Senate. Now, is that same bill back again this year, or has it changed from what was approved?
we just brought the same bill and said, hey, let's do this. And then it was like, no, we want to change. So we were like, okay, well, let's do some small changes, whatever you want. But the corpus, we're keeping it. We want this person to be an independent from the governor, independent from the representatives. It's just someone that will bring in other ideas, like a third party. And they want nothing to do with it. So what we said was, okay, we'll bring it up again. And then they shot it down. It was a tie vote, 67-67. And then they brought up a bill that they wanted us to support that was controversial. And we said, okay. Yeah, we agree. Let's look at it. Let's look at it. Not totally different subject, but they were trying to show how absurd we are because, and we're like, no, we agree with you. Yeah, let's look at that issue. Let's look at it more in depth because one of our representatives in a meeting said, well, if you would do this, we would probably agree. So then they did it on the fly on the House floor, which is totally not, we usually don't operate that way, but if it's an emerging issue, you can. And so some parliamentary stuff went on and we approved it. And they're like, oh, why'd you approve it? It's like, well, you wanted us to help you, right? So we're helping you. Can you guys offer back the same help that we're looking for from you to get this office of Inspector General? You would think it's not even debatable. Don't you want, we know there's fraud. They even admit there's fraud. The governor admits there's fraud. Certainly. Everybody admits that there's fraud. And it's like, so how do you deal with it? Well, you don't hire yourselves to watch the hen house. You know, you hire someone else that's going to do a better job. So that's what we're asking for. And they're like, no, that's unconstitutional. And it's like, wow. Where are we going to go? How are we going to get through
How are we
this?
going to get past this?
You know, and so we're just going to keep bringing it up and we'll do the small changes that they want. And quite honestly, the Senate said, yeah, could you change a couple things in it? Fine. You know, we'd like to get it done sooner than later, you know, the show. And then yesterday, I saw the governor came out with his own inspector general. They're not inspector, but he hired someone to do it. And I would say 90% of it's redacted. You can't read it. We can't read it. No one can read it. And it's kind of like, really?
That's not going to work.
This is what we're really, you know, kind of, wow. And, you know, shenanigans, whatever, you know, just let's solve the problem and move on. That's what last night, you know, I was with the tax chair, House tax chair and transportation chair and different members. And just having these conversations, you know, like bills coming up, you know, well, what do you think of this? I'm like, you know, it's a good idea, but you're using trunk highway money for that idea. It's like trunk highway money is for highways, not for
something else,
what you want to use it for. And well, so if we find money, well, this is what governance is, you know, it
should be.
Yeah.
That isn't always, it doesn't seem like.
No, but you know what? It's, again, for lack of I have an ace in the hole that they don't have. I have a senator who's knows how to see through a lot of this stuff and is a good voice of reason. He can kind of work what he can on his side. So when it gets really thick and I haven't seen him in a couple of days and we've been, you know, we see the same people. Like they meet me, then they go see Senator Hochschild, then they meet him, and then they meet me. And it's like, okay. And we've tried it on a couple occasions where, you know, like, just let's meet in Senator's office because I don't have an office. I got a cubicle.
Still, until the new.
And if I'm not, which I won't see people I don't like seeing people at the cubicle. It's a table in front. But I'll meet in the state, in the Capitol. I'll find a room or we'll do it in the hallway. And it's nice every now and then when there's a group of like 6 or 8 and let's go meet with the senator at the same time. So we put the time together and that's when we can. It's not,
doesn't always work with scheduling.
He's got his schedule. I have mine and the people are in between. But when we try to, it's nice because then they have both of us there. And again, it doesn't matter which party you are at this point. This is trying to get things across the finish line. So that part's fun. You know, he's got a nice office. I don't have a nice office.
You had a nice office.
I did.
Until this whole change happened.
$730 million building.
I thought you might bring that up. And it sounds like it's, however, going to be done on schedule, not on schedule? Don't know. Okay.
I have asked leadership, both ours and theirs, Representative Sexton and myself are in capital investments. We have construction experience, building stuff. And it's like, hey, you think you give us a tour of the building so we can see physically where we are and we can report back? Let me talk to the people. No. What do you mean? No, it's our building, you know? So
for tax dollars.
Again, this is that I have no idea who's in charge.
Oh boy.
And you try and, and then I asked our leadership, can you get us, Tom and I, we want to look.
Yeah.
Well, we have our people there already. Yeah, but they don't have any idea like we do.
Right.
Like
what they're looking at.
We've done this before. We know punch lists. We know how this works. We know, and no. Okay. Whatever.
Oh boy.
There's plenty of work. Trust me. It's being a legislator is like being a dairy farmer. There's never a chance, never where, I got it all done. What do I do next?
Oh, I see.
Yeah, no, you never get it all done.
How many committees are you on this year again?
Four. I'm on 4 that I have housing, transportation, legacy, and capital investments. But I also sit on LCCMR, which meets once in a while.
Oh, that's true.
I sit on this task force for foraging.
Okay.
And it sometimes, and every now and then, I used to belong to this clean water one, and I haven't been able to I don't know if it just went away or if they put someone else on it because I am pretty busy.
Well, I mean, I think people don't understand that in addition to floor discussions, you have committee meetings on almost more often than you do regular floor sessions.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe at this time of the session as well, right? You have more of that.
Yeah, the floor session is nothing. That's like a break.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like you don't have to, you can listen, but, you don't have to listen to the people that are coming to give you information. We already got the information. Now we're actually debating it.
Right.
So if you hear something that's not true, you stand up and say, hey, that's not true. That's kind of what happened yesterday or Wednesday. There was a large contingent about the boundary waters. They came down to lobby for the boundary waters.
Yeah, talk about that because I did see a clip of you speaking on it. So can you relate to people what that was about?
Yeah, and so what happened was, I have my members, Republican members saying, gee, I didn't know they were going to mine in the boundary waters. I go, they're not. Well, I had this lady in my office saying, they're going to mine the boundary waters. I go, no, it can't. No, we're not going to allow that. That's not an option.
Right.
Well, they're saying it's so close, you may as well be in it. I go, it's not close, and it's not anything like that. It's they don't like it, and they'll say anything, and in my opinion, they'll lie. Mm-hmm. So I stood on the House floor, asked the Speaker, member privilege. Yes, I need to set the record straight here. So I said, today is Boundary Waters Day. You're going to hear lobby people telling you about it. I said, one thing I want you to keep in mind is there is no mining in the boundary waters. Right. If you hear anyone say there's mining in the boundary waters, it's a lie. Mm-hmm. And then I just sat down. I'm kind of tired of trying to correct people who don't care about the truth. Mm-hmm. For me, seeing a sign when they're holding, no kings, no kidding. I don't want kings either.
Does, right?
It's like, who's the king? It's like Joe Biden, because if Joe Biden didn't like it, he just did it. Yeah, he didn't even do the executive order; someone else did. But my point is, there's so many things in out there that is subterfuge that just make you not want to know what the truth is. Mm-hmm. We gotta just. Our job is to filter through all of that to get to the. But yeah, this session, I think. The stuff we're going to try to do are policy things.
Okay.
No money. Oh, that's the other thing. I need to explain to people.
Please do.
If we do a bonding bill, it's last year's negotiation. What they did, first time ever, and I say whoever negotiated the bonding deal. Well, I'll tell you. I talked to Office of Management and Budget, mm-hmm. and the Democrats proposed taking when we borrow $1 billion, mm-hmm. the debt service is included in the billion. That's the way it's always been. So it's part of the borrowing,
sure.
Paying the debt off.
Sure.
Last year, the Democrats pulled that out because they're trying to make the deficit look smaller.
Oh.
So they take it out. Now the deficit doesn't look as big. Mm-hmm. This is what this person from MMB told me. So, I'm just sorry. This is the way. I said, well, that's not right because now we got to come up with $180 million to have a bonding bill. Whose idea was this? Mm-hmm. This is not the way we've always done business.
Right.
And you don't just find $180 million laying around.
No.
You can find 120 from the rail from St. Paul to Duluth, but they took 75 to pay for the schools to have unemployment insurance, which runs out this year. And now, if this thing keeps going, taxpayers are going to have to pay for the unemployment insurance for part-time people. Crazy. So anyway, where we're at is we're going to do a bonding bill. How big? The Senate Democrats want 1.2 billion. I think I'll go with 1.2 billion if we can, make the payments, because there are a lot of projects and not member projects so much, but we have on capital investments, we see them. We have water, wastewater, just in Grant and I's district, just a little 3A. We have $6 million for Grand Marais for a wastewater project on next to Lake Superior.
Sure.
We have $5 million for International Falls for their water treatment. We have, I think it's down to $3 million for Ely now for the water line, and we have $6 million on Silver Creek for a sewer, the hookup to make that thing work, and we don't. For our district, we don't have that much money. And then throw $1.5 million for this bridge, $700,000 for that bridge, $500,000 for another small project in Rainier, and Little Fork has a project they'd like. And you start going through the district, and it's like there's not enough money. It's just not.
Right.
So if we could, this is my proposal the other day in capital investments again, I think we should borrow every year $300 million on infrastructure, PFA, Public Finance Authority, and for water and wastewater, PSIG, all these little acronyms in here. That way, instead of bringing everyone down to testify, ours is more important. We have a litmus test to check how damaging it is to the water, or how damaging it is to the community, or
kind of rating the project.
Yeah, you rate the project on several different areas, and when you get that number, that's your cue. That's where you are.
Okay.
As the years go by, if you don't ever get funding and it gets worse, obviously you go higher up in the queue.
Sure.
If we knew we would have $300 million every year for that, then everyone traveling down and coming in and lobbying, just get in line. You're going to get money between now and 10 years. Something's going to give. And that way we can keep up on these things, and these small communities don't have to have $160 water rates, and because that's what it works out to be about per household. And it's just not it's not. We don't need to do that. We're better. We can do better. So,
but you think there will be a bonding bill this year? Then
I'm pretty sure we're going to get a bond. I mean, the Liunia people yesterday, they're big about labor, obviously, but work, and almost all of our big bonding projects are union projects. So, the building trades and the labor unions and AFL-CIO, they're all, like, we got to have this. And, the Republicans have been voting for bonding pretty on step.
Okay.
And, the Democrats keep saying, oh, they're not going to vote for it. It's like, really? I'm voting for it. There's not a problem with this.
Well, then, if you only need one in the House to break the, I know you need more than that for a bonding bill.
Yeah, you need 60%. Super majority. But we can work. There's a bunch of us that are solid.
That could happen.
Yeah.
How about the changes that were talked about at the Ely legislative meeting for school funding, specifically tax changes for seasonal recreational property? Do you think that'll make it through this year, or will there be a tax bill that can even go on?
Well, that's the issue, and that's for Senator Hochschild. He's vice chair of the Senate Tax Committee now, so he's got a little more influence of getting that to be heard, which benefits everyone.
Yep.
And those are the realities of politics, and if he can get it in there, it'll help. It's not but it's still.
But for our area of the state, it's a very important issue for schools. Do you think? I mean,
so here's Senator Bach's rationale.
Okay.
If you remember, anytime you brought something to Senator Bach, that's a great idea. How are you paying for it?
True.
And it's like, well, we're just going to, instead of the state getting the money, we're going to keep the money. And it's like, fine. Where's the state getting the money that you're taking?
Yes.
Well, you guys are going to have to cut. Okay, what are we cutting? School?
Yep.
And it's kind of like you have to be careful how you do this tax because otherwise you have to raise taxes to cover this.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Republicans right now are saying no new taxes. Please don't.
Yeah.
We need a break. Everyone's property tax is going up 8+%, which is kind of mind numbing in itself. But that's what's happening.
The times we live in right
Yeah,
now.
and at some point, you can't sustain that growth.
Mhm.
You shouldn't. Government shouldn't be growing that big or that fast. And I mean, just these are the issues that we're tackling down there. And so, and these aren't good numbers. Today, numbers are coming out today, Friday, and for the forecast.
Right.
And I haven't even looked at my email this morning.
Mm-hmm.
So what could happen if the numbers look good and look like there's growth, like the big beautiful bill is working and
Mm-hmm.
we're generating more money and it's like, okay, how much can we forecast out? How much of a surplus are we going to have? Right now we have a $2.5 billion surplus for 26, 27. For 27, 28, we have a $1.5 billion loss.
Yep. That you have to
So
make up.
any money, for instance, if this school thing goes through, you just add it to that deficit.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. So now you're 1.4 billion in the hole, you
Yeah.
know, or whatever. If I was 1.2,
Yeah.
you know, you're going to lose a couple $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, again, that helps the school districts, but in the end, the state has to figure out how to get that money or cut programs.
Sure.
That's what
Those
we
are your choices.
because if we keep raising taxes again, at some point, the people are going to say enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm there now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I want bonding, and I realize, you know, but the bonding is you're borrowing against yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem we have is we have so many projects that got funded and they're not using the money. So
Really?
the money is sitting there,
Huh.
but it gets counted as used money. And we can't borrow anymore because that's there. If we took those projects and said, you're not going to do these? No. We throw it back into the mix. Now we can have more this year bonding.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And so we're working through that. We have several projects in our district that I got a bill for extending legacy projects and different, trying to keep everything going.
Yep.
But yeah, there's no money. I mean, literally, there's
Mm-hmm.
yeah. We have a $2 billion surplus. Yay, let's spend it. Really? And then next year it's going to be a $4 billion deficit. You know,
Yeah.
not next year, but 2 years from now. The tails, we call it the tails. And yeah, that's the reality. And again, unless our receipts come in bigger every month from here on in, then
Different story.
if we freeze spending where we are
Mm-hmm.
and we have more income, then we can whittle down that deficit that we know we're going to get. But that takes, sorry, Roger, we can't do that.
Right.
You know,
right.
I'm like, but I need that project for my constituents.
Yep.
We don't have the money, you know, and then I have to come back and say, sorry, we just don't have the money. And that has to happen throughout the state. So,
Sure.
and then once we get our fiscal house in order, and anyone out there that thinks the fraud, you know, catch the guys and get your money back. Yeah.
You don't see that happening.
No. You know, it's like people rob a bank or get caught stealing from work. It's like, where'd you spend the money? Well, I was at the casino, or I bought all this stuff. You're never getting the money back.
And it's not coming back, is it?
So I can't promise that, you know, but I'm just saying, don't count on it.
I don't know that, I guess from my understanding that, I don't know that people, I think they'd like the money to come back, but I think at this point they just want the fraud that's happening to stop.
Yeah.
If that's the one thing you guys could accomplish this session, I think that's something people would say, hey, good. You got something done that's positive for our state.
Office of Inspector General. That's
Right.
exactly what would happen, because now they're accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when they investigate and you get caught, you're going to jail or you're getting prosecuted.
Right.
And let Mary Moriarty take you and say, oh, no, he didn't steal enough. He's okay. Fine. You know, if that's what's going to happen, you know,
Sure.
but at least we know who did it and how much. But right now we're not getting any of that, you know. and I love the governor's speech. The federal government's cutting Medicaid and they're getting back. It's retaliation. And it's like, no, they've asked you to give them the numbers and you're refusing to give them the numbers. Well, if you're not compliant, you don't get the money. It's like, I'll use this as an example. In the 50 states of the union, there's 49 that have a drinking age of 21.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have 21, you don't get the federal highway money.
Right.
That's how they
did it.
That's how, and this is no different. If you don't do this, you don't get that.
Mm-hmm.
So they came in and said, hey, you got so much fraud. Show us your books. We want to see what the heck's going on. No, you can't. This is ours. You don't have any. And it's like, then we're not going to give you any money till you show us that you can responsibly spend it. And, the governor's running around saying they're retaliating. No, it's not. It's real simple.
You're saying there's politics involved in this whole thing, Roger, a little bit? Or?
Yeah. It's frustrating.
It is. I'm sure it is.
And it's because I think we all want to know.
I think so too.
He's
we hear a lot of things, but we actually want to know what.
Yeah, and he's on his swan song. He's, lame duck governor. He's on his way out. Why wouldn't you say, and do something about it? Do it. That's what we want. We want someone held accountable. And he's like, we're going to put the people in jail that did it. It's like, how do we know who did it? You won't let us investigate.
Yep.
Oh, I'm going to investigate. Oh, really? And we're like, how about getting the third party?
All right, one more before we go. The Star Tribune today has a story. You're quoted in it. It has to do with Senator Klobuchar is indicating that she will vote against the changes in the mining rules for the federal government that has been passed in the House, strongly supported by Representative Stauber. And now it's going, apparently, to come up for a Senate vote this week, next week, we don't know. And it was kind of up in the air where Senator Klobuchar was. Obviously, she's a candidate for governor as well, and she's indicated she will vote no. You were quoted in the story as saying that mining can be done up here. Do you want to expound on that a little bit? And this is obviously in reference to copper nickel mining. And again, as you said earlier, not inside the Boundary Waters, but do you want to touch on that one?
Yeah, there's two parts to the story. There was a story the other day that came out. The same reporter did the first one Friday morning. I think I talked to her, and it came out Friday afternoon or Saturday morning, or not Saturday morning. No, it would have been
after that sometime.
Whatever day, Thursday. I don't know, whatever day it was. But they're all running together for me. I apologize, but we talked about the leases. What do you think? And it wasn't. Amy hadn't come out.
She hadn't said anything yet, right?
But she said, how is this going to affect your district if it doesn't? I said, well, here's the problem. If this passes, all it does is say that Twin Metals or whoever has the leases can actually use the leases and find out if there's any minerals underneath, and or if they're putting a mine plan together, they can say, this is the makeup of the area and this is the plan that we want to do. Mm-hmm. Without that, you can't do anything. So you don't know. It's like a big no. It's not saying they're going to mine. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with that. It just says you have permission now to do the groundwork to decide if it meets or exceeds the science that is available for doing this. Mm-hmm. That's all it does. It doesn't give anyone permission to mine, and there's no permit involved for mining, anything. Right. And they won't even let us do that. So how do we know if it's even mineable? Mm-hmm. And that's my frustration. So when a senator says, oh, I'm not going to vote for it. So you're basically saying in greater Minnesota, northern Minnesota, specifically in the district I represent, that you're going to support some other kind of jobs? Are you going to put data centers all over here? We got a lot of water. You want data centers everywhere? Those are jobs, good union jobs, But I think most of us, at least some of us, data centers are important, but really, I'm not sure in this district. For me, I would much rather see all that power go to work a mine than work a data center. For me, that's my 2 cents worth. Okay. I'd rather see the iron ore mines with the power, because we signed this 2040 thing that says all power has to be. We didn't. I voted against it because the technology's not there to have renewable energy to make it.
No.
And the carve out they did was all the iron ore mines get to buy power from North Dakota, which is coal power.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a moratorium on nuclear power, which we're trying to pass a bill this year to lift the moratorium so we can talk about nuclear power, not build anything again, but just talk about it. And there are Democrats that are like, no way, no way. Then you're just going to do it. This is the same thing with the mining leases.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to give you a lease because if you do, then you're going to mine. It's like, well, there is a progression, yes, but it can't be done if we don't know what we have to do.
Right.
But they won't even let us get to that point. Okay. So that's the frustrating part, like what Senator Klobuchar is doing. It's like, so you don't want to even try to talk about it? You don't want any, well, the science has to be, and I'm like, right, we can't do the science on something that's not scienceable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just where we are. It's like, let us go through the process. And yeah, talk to Julie Lucas, and she's an expert.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a mining person, and she'll tell you that it can be done. The science is there to make it happen. We have a mine in Michigan, the Eagle Mine, in a water-rich environment and underground, exactly what we want to do. And they'll be done in less than 5 years, 10 years. They got an extension because they found some more ore, but then they're done.
Yeah.
And ours is bigger than that. Ours is going to be done in 5 years, 10 years.
No. Ours
is large. Large.
One of the largest in the world.
Yep.
One more, because now you already brought this up. Helium.
I was just going to go there.
You know it's coming next.
I was going to tell you. I was like, I kind of segued into the.
You were heading in that direction, but before we wrap up, let's at least, we keep hearing Pulsar Helium has been drilling, and I think they're on their 7th well, and everyone has hit large pockets of helium gas along with helium-3, and I mean they're really finding good things in their process, but they need the legislature, it's my understanding. Yes. You can explain this, to get their part done and determine how this is all going to happen.
In order to develop a mine, in order to develop a plant to take the gas out, you have to have rules. There are no rules. There's kind of a break right now till we get our rules in place. We tried to do it last session. It didn't work because the taxes were tied to it, and there's an issue with the taxes. So the DNR said, if you can just get the rules through, that's all we want.
Okay.
And the problem I have with the rules is I was at the Helium Summit, World Helium Summit in Austin, Texas, and I met with the experts, 2 of the experts in the world. And one's from Texas and one's from the New York area.
Okay.
And these people are renowned. And I told them what we're doing and that we're using Colorado as a template. And they both looked at each other and looked at me and said, why Colorado? I go, well, that's what the DNR did. And he goes, they're the hardest to even try to get a permit to get the gas out of the ground, that it's very difficult.
Okay.
And I'm like, so the DNR guy was standing next to me. I go, why are we using that? I don't know. That's, and I'm like, gosh, can you make it harder? Minnesota is so backwards. All the eco nuts out there are going to say, oh, it's great because they're watching the environment. And it's like, yeah, you don't have to be stupid to watch the environment. You can be responsible and watch the environment. To me, being stupid is saying no to everything. That's not, again, you want to come up here and retire and live off of the stocks that you purchase and you own, and that's your living, great. But don't tell us that have to work that we can't work because you think it might be pollution. We're saying the science out there says it's not, and the state is going to get a cut, and the school districts are going to get a cut, and the tribes will negotiate their own cut. It'll all work out. Just let us move forward, and then there is some concern from the tribes that they believe, again, this is, in my opinion, voodoo science. They believe because helium is really a breakdown of radioactive material. After it breaks down so many thousands of years, it makes helium.
Sure.
So that's what we're finding. They believe if you open the hole, then all the radioactive stuff goes out.
I see.
And it's not. I mean, they have testing. It's not what happens.
Yeah.
It isn't. But that's their story and they're sticking to it.
Okay.
So we're working through those kind of issues. Again, I'm encouraging Pulsar to go deal with the tribes, work with them. I think they have a place in this discussion, and I'm hoping that they'll talk to them